The frick is this?
Not as complex as a video from OK Go, or a Roman rap song with that OK flow. Alpha bro talking smooth as that Ole-O, but ain't no Juliet gon' die for this Romeo.
2012 Alfa Romeo Mito. And it's a turbo. Oh, it's hissing at... Is there a snake in there? Uh-oh, danger. I hope I didn't upset your automobile. I got a chance to drive a Renault Clio 182 while in the UK, and a Mito isn't that. I've driven a Fiat 500 Abarth. Our fixer Tom has one. We even used it as a camera car. And Mito isn't that. The United States is awash with Fiestas and Focus STs, and now that everybody is chubbing up for Civic Type Rs in 2017 America, Focus RSs are becoming affordable too on the secondhand market. And the Mito isn't a Ford. So what does this car have going for it? Looks? A lumpy blob of a stereotype. But it's cheap. Cheaper than a 500 Abarth. And cheaper than a Focus ST. But it looks good until you study it. And then you see the headlights are too big. And the grille, if you want to call it that, is small. And the wheels are too busy. And the airbag case in the middle of the steering wheel is way too big. And it makes the whole contraption look like a 1999 Subaru Outback steering wheel. And the gauges sparkle, which is sure to delight a particular segment of your friends who like to go out and get white girl wasted. Alfa Romeo Mito, trash class. Alfa Romeo Mito, a double shot of Goldschlager served in a skinny plastic shooter glass with blue LEDs embedded in the base, while Stay Fly from 3-6 Mafia plays overhead. 1.4 liter turbo with no throttle body at all. Yep, it's a straight tube from the airbox to the turbo to the limoncello sucking intake valves. Seriously. No butterfly valve. Here's how this monstrosity works. The intake valves are the butterfly valves. There is an oil pressure space, a tin cure, a vessel, in between the intake cam and the valve stem of the intake valve. There's no mechanical connection between the intake camshaft and the intake valves. Instead, roller cam type sensors ride on the intake cam lobes, all 8 of them. These sensors control oil-driven solenoids which push the intake valves down into this very interference engine. By the way, those oil-driven valve shooter downers, yeah, they use special oil, not engine oil. I get what you're going for here. But if you're going to just eliminate the mechanical connection, why do you still even have why did you do it halfway? I mean, coolant exeg has the free valve system that has no camshafts at all, just hydraulically controlled valves all the way down, and they're proving that that works. Alfa Romeo is saying that, okay, well, if the intake valves, if we eliminate this, we can burn leaner and we can get better fuel economy. Yeah, but your exhaust valves are still mechanical. So, I mean, you get the exact same results with regular mechanically driven cams and direct gasoline injection. Yeah, this doesn't have direct injection. It has old port fuel style injection, which is fine, but you just made it. It's like AVE said, good engineering is not busy engineering. This is unnecessary complexity. Yes, it's a more advanced motor, but to what end? I'm sorry, engine, not motor. So if the drivetrain is needlessly complicated, what is the Alfa Romeo Mito? It's what you get when you want a Mini Cooper, but you don't want people assuming you lost your real car in the divorce. We're getting the impression that the Alfa Romeo Mito is a car that's desperate to appear better than it actually is. There are any number of cars you can get that are less expensive, lower maintenance, and more fun than this. Ford Fiesta Sport. You can save yourself the trouble of having to explain to the neighbors that, no, I don't think I'm better than you, just let me get my mail, Jesus Christ. The Mito makes 135 horsepower and 152 pound-feet of torque. Really, just a regular amount. Supposedly, the big draw with this addition is the spiffy new driving system known as the DNA system, which stands for Dynamic, Natural, and All-Weather. And it adjusts steering weight, throttle response, traction control, ABS, and other aspects of performance to streamline the driving experience and, in theory, makes it easier to adapt to different driving conditions. But the problem is that none of these settings really give you all that much power. The driving mode selector is near the gear lever, so you can change the mode based on your situation, but why would you really? Dynamic mode increases traction control, natural mode decreases fuel consumption when you're on level surfaces, and all-weather mode puts all the different safety components on high alert during lousy weather conditions. None of the three really offer the European driving experience that you think something like an Alfa Romeo would offer. So what's the deal with the name? Well, the Mito was designed in Milan but assembled in Turin. But Alfa didn't have a name for the car when it all came together, so they held a contest in 2007 that would allow Europeans to name the car. The person with the winning name suggestion in each country would win either an Alfa Romeo Spider or an Alfa Romeo mountain bike. This was all well and good, except that the contest ended up being pointless because the winning name wasn't used. The winning name was Furiosa. Nice. And that was the top score basically everywhere but Spain. However, Alfa Romeo picked Mito because it combined the abbreviations for the car's origin cities, Milan and Turin. It was also a play on the Italian word mitico, which means mythical. So yeah, here you go. Here's your car. I tried to like it. I get that there are modifications to this, but modifications are difficult, and it turns into a box of rolling disappointment because this car doesn't allow LED bulbs because the electronics will tell you that they're blown out no matter how many load resistors you use. That's what you're getting here. The automotive equivalent of every little league game your dad missed. The trim level here is distinctive, and they made less than 800 of this trim level for the United Kingdom. According to Elliott, insurance is relatively cheap because these cars apparently aren't crashed very often. Now they're claiming something like 83.1 miles per gallon, and if those numbers were any more generous, they'd be tax deductible. Elliott claims 40 miles per gallon, and that's what he got here on the way to Essex, which is almost the same mileage as the Abarth we used as our camera car. So again, what do you think? Abarth is better. The Mito is a car that should be impressive. It's got good style and a history married to a known brand, and it carries a certain prestige to it. But what does it mean to have an Alfa these days? We made a point about the Miata having detractors, but it doesn't even feel like people are talking that much about Alfa anymore. Yeah, I know the Giulia or whatever it is here in the United States, but that's just one car. We don't have a history of this, so that's what I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand Alfa, and I'm trying to understand cheap Alfas. And all the things that I read online tend to swell with hyperbole, like Jeremy Clarkson claiming that this car is so awful I wouldn't even give it to my son, and adding that it was shocking, bad, almost beyond belief. And I understand him, like one of the bent judges in Judge Dredd saying to Judge Dredd, "I expected more of you." Alfa, the Alfa Romeo, finally gets on the wrong end of my lens. And what it is a Mito. The performance here is more of an idea than anything else. You have an idea of what it's supposed to be like, and as long as you don't drive this car, that idea will never be challenged. Trust me, I wish I could tell you that this car lived up to the hype of Alfa Romeo, or maybe the price, or the technology that supposedly justifies the investment, but I can't. Never meet your heroes, and never read a living author.
Oh, this Alfa Romeo's not a simple ride. It has none of the things that make my life a breeze. But I still take comfort that I get to drive something high-priced, looking alright. Something high-priced, looking alright.